Hello, and welcome to the first edition of The Powerful You Conversations with Ramona on Women's Radio Station. My special guest today is Michael Grecu. He's a best selling author. So far, he has published 8 books. He is a psychologist with a master's degree in cognitive therapy. In addition, he is a well known astrologist, spirituality coach, hypnotherapist, and energetic healer. Michael is also a specialist in breathing techniques such as pranayama and a yoga practitioner. What amazed me was that he learned most of these skills intuitively. As a psychic, he possesses solid intuitive qualities. He uses this birth gift to help people heal their old traumas, which are significant in their lives. I'm going to bring Michael here. Hello, Michael, and welcome to the first episode of The Powerful You Conversations with Ramona.
Hello, Ramona. I'm pleased to meet you.
It's a pleasure and honor to have you. So let's dive in.
Okay.
Today's topic Today's topic is the roadmap to a happy and successful life. I love this topic so much and I want our listeners to discover what it means to be really happy and live a fulfilled life. One thing that I know for sure is that everybody on this planet wants to be happy. But what is happiness after all? Why everybody's biggest desire in life is to be happy? Is it related only to the material aspect or is there more to have and feel? Is happiness spiritual? Is it already inside us and we only need to discover it? So many questions that people have, but the number one thing they seek is happiness. Michael, I know that you have these answers for our listeners and I invite you to share them with us. But first, I want you to please go back and share with us your life journey. I know it wasn't very smooth, but you now live a happy life despite all the obstacles.
Mm. My life is a novel in itself, I would say. I was I haven't been up. I haven't always been up. Sorry. Yes, I have. I've I had many difficult times in my life, but somehow I managed to come through in the end. Yes. Um, where to start? Let me think. uh, I was 20 years old. I had nothing to do with spirituality. I was almost lost, you know. Um, I didn't know many things. I didn't know much about life, about. So God was a hypothesis for me, not a certainty, anyway. Or let's say the power behind the scene. So, shall I tell you a story?
Yes, I believe our listeners they will be delighted to hear your life journey and your life story so far.
Yes, yes. I was somewhere in the mountains in Romania with an old friend that I don't know much about now, but it doesn't matter. So we were up in the mountains somewhere. We were in a deserted place. Nobody came there, really. And all of a sudden, I had a terrible idea to climb a rock, just like that, without ropes, without anything. My friend didn't do the same thing. So I started climbing, 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 climbing. I was thinking, I was seeing myself as a mountain goat, something. I was so full of energy, like young people are. They feel they can do anything. They feel Everything is in their power, no problem. Fact is that I climbed and climbed, and then when I was at, I don't know, let's say 15, 20 meters on the rock, uh, I found out that I couldn't climb and that I couldn't go down either. It was a very, very embarrassing situation, and nobody was there. I repeat, that friend of mine was walking here and there with no solution at all, and it was very hot. It was very sorry. It was very hot. It was a summer day, and I suddenly started to get that feeling that I had no chance to escape alive from there. It was so stupid to die just because I had a rush, a sudden rush to do. And I told my friend, I think I'll make it brief. It's a long story, but I try to make it brief because we have lots of things to talk about. Yes. Uh, I told my friend, I think Costin once. I think Costina, this is the end for me. It is a very stupid end, a very early end, but I don't think I can manage. I feel it. And when I said these things, all of a sudden I felt coldness in my body. It was very hot outside, but I started to feel cold, 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 and colder inside. I was icy at a certain moment. And my guess was that this was death, and which is more, all around my head, like on a very, very large screen, circular screen, I started seeing my whole life. I mean it. It
Wow.
was going so fast, so fast, so fast. Scenes from my life, all my pleasant moments, my parents, everything I liked, everything I regretted, everything was there on a screen. I am not kidding. I was seeing this literally, and it lasted for about 30 seconds, let's say. But it was so compressed. It was all, and that straightened my feeling that I was going to die. That was certainly for me. At that time we didn't have movies with these topics, and I hadn't read anywhere about this. Seeing life on a screen. It wasn't something. It wasn't an information from no. It was happening right there, and believe me, it was very, very hard to take it. And I started. I, I was afraid. I want to confess. I started being afraid, very, and I started shaking as well. And it was all, physical and mental shaking as well. It wasn't. It was very complex. And I looked up, and somewhere above me, I saw a crack in the stone, something, a hole, a little hole. And I said to myself, "Oh, I should give it a try. I have nothing more to lose because I'm dead anyway. Let's try this." And I hang myself from a cliff corner, and I managed to put my right foot on that hole, 1 meter above. But this only made things worse, believe me. Because now I was hanging with one on one hand and one foot. Yeah, it was a move. I was like that. The other two were in the air, the other hand and leg. And I smiled to myself. And I said, now it is sure. We've made it sure. There's no
Wow.
escape for you. There is no escape for you from here. Now it's clear. And I looked to my friend again. He was so embarrassed and he seemed so awkward walking at the base of that rock, you know, with no purpose at all, powerless, weak. And I said, "You, it's up to you. You are the one who should tell my parents what happened here." And I think now I have to say goodbye to you and to this world because that rock was very very abrupt. It was almost vertical. It wasn't a joke. It's and I was just hanging like that, waiting um for the thing to happen. For the I was waiting to fall. And I was repeating a scene in my life, in my eyes, sorry, me rolling down on that rock, and it was terrible, terrible. So, but in that deserted place, at that exact moment, uh, some people arrived. You know, I thought there were people. I thought there were people. It was a father, apparently, a father with four kids, three girls and a boy. All of them were so, so, so beautiful. Very beautiful faces, incredibly beautiful faces. Especially the girls. They were like from another world. I mean it. They were shining. uh, They didn't say a word. Now I want you and your listeners to be very attentive to this. These people didn't say a word to me. The father and the boy just came and they started climbing the same rock, but on a different path that I think nobody could have been aware of. They were more, I don't know, they were like more, they were flying over. It's hard to say how they were climbing it because there was no way to climb that. There was no other, but they were doing it somehow. I don't know. Believe me, I was too frightened to think. I wasn't thinking anymore. My mind had stopped completely. And so they climbed apparently on a different side of the rock without saying a word. I repeat, it was exactly as if they knew what was happening to me. You know, they were like sent there, and the boy arrived somewhere beneath me, and that was the first and only time when he spoke. And he said, "Try to put your foot on my hand, and I'll guide it, and I'll help you." Of course, I had no other choice, and I had no other thought. and I did what he said. I tried to do it, but my body was already paralyzed. I had no strength. Uh, I was like, I was like a corpse already. I had no strength. I tried to do this, but when I tried to do this, I couldn't manage, and I literally fell off the rock. You know, but I fell in a very strange way, like jumping from uh, platform at a swimming pool. I jumped and I didn't touch the rock while falling. You know, I was in a somewhere. You know, I would have died anyway because
Yeah.
the distance was very, very. 20 meters. It's a lot. You don't. You cannot escape.
Yes. So
But
this was a moment which was, I don't know how to explain. I mean, this moment has had an amazing and such a powerful shift in your life. It was
yeah,
a moment which transformed your life.
just give me a minute because I finished it right away. Just before touching the ground and eventually dying, I saw a branch in front of my eyes, the branch of a tree,
Yeah.
some 2 meters above the ground, and I could reach that branch with my hands. I had that, let's say, a survival instinct, despite my state. Yes, and I managed to stay alive by a miracle. And but only now comes the point. I got down. Those two, the father and the son. The son was, let's say, I think about the same age as me. Yes, I think. Apparently, I repeat. And they were smiling at me. They didn't talk. I wasn't talking. The girls weren't talking either. And it was very, very strange. There was such a silence there. But the man, this is the point, the father was bleeding. He was bleeding heavily from his head and from his knees. Uh, the blood was rushing out of his head and of his knees. I mean it. Only then I realized that while falling, I had touched him. I had and he fell, but uh, not from that height. He fell and he rolled over the rock, and he was heavily, heavily injured. But he was smiling at me with that blood rushing out from his head. Yes, he was happy, and I could never forget his expression. And here I land. You know what? The most awkward thing that mm, happened, because my friends there uh, didn't seem to see those persons there.
Wow.
And he didn't talk with me about them, which is not normal, no, for a human being. You talk,
Yeah,
you talk about such an event.
exactly.
I realized that he didn't see the scene he was in a different dimension. He didn't talk about this, not a word. So this wasn't for him. This was just for me and those beings that I don't think they were people after all. They were sent to rescue me because I wasn't meant to die that day. And which is more, I was meant to realize that we are not alone in this universe. And there is a force behind everything and everybody who knows exactly about you every single second of your life. And from that on, I started changing. From that on, I started to believe somehow it was a long journey, but that was the beginning, as you say, there of the rest of my life. You know, I started to become a different person from that moment on. I started to make connections. I started to see things. Connections. There is a connection in everything. And now I know. This is just an example. This is my. This is the point. My starting point on this spiritual path. And it is, as you see, as you can realize, it is based on a very, very, very serious and physical fact. And lots of things, some other very, very, very strange things happen after that, that made me understand why I did not die that day on the rock. Well, I don't. We don't have much time. There's so much to tell.
Yes, wow, wow. Let me say just wow. I'm so amazed by your experience, and by that's like God's moment in your life, because
Yes.
I believe that was the divine intervention, and sometimes things happen just around us, and nobody can even explain them, like there is no explanation. So
Right.
that is the perfect moment just to recognize, as you said earlier, that we are never alone in this world. We are not alone, and we will never be alone.
Never.
So yes, and the paradox is that most people in this world feel alone, and
Right.
this is yes, this is the the paradox. As I said, everybody in this world, especially for like Christmas and all these holidays, these are the main sad moments of the year for
Right.
for the people who don't have yet, like like a family or a partner, a love partner, or just people who don't really like to be in the middle of some friendships and all that things.
Right.
And
Right.
yes, this was like a wow moment. I don't know, I cannot describe it, but yeah, it's I know we know her
Yes.
already, but I never knew about this story, and I'm so happy to hear it and to
I
share it.
I felt like telling it. Um, this moment is you can find it in my last book as well. Of course, it is beautifully described there in detail. Uh, but I felt like sharing this with people because it is a true. It is a true thing, and I don't like to lie. I don't like to lie, and I don't like to fool myself. You know. And when I say something, I mean it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so thankful and grateful to you that you had the courage and the pleasure as well to share this story with us.
Mhm.
Regarding spirituality, I would like you to just share with myself and with the listeners, how can spirituality influence our life? I don't know, a certain thing that can make our life be more happier, more fulfilled, or what is it, this spirituality concept? Because what I know for sure is that most people, when they hear the word spirituality, they relate it straight to religion. And I know
Yes.
it's wrong.
Mhm.
And I want to, because I know you have these skills and spirituality. It's a big important thing in your life, which also changed your life in a best way possible. I want you to please share with the listeners what is actually spirituality. What does it mean? What is all this concept?
Spirituality, I would say, means feeling that you are a spirit. In fact, we are spirits having a material life. Yes, we are not material beings having a spiritual life. No, we are spirits who chose to have uh, a lifetime spent in a body. This body, you know, is something that you will change someday. You'll have to do this because it is not endless, you know. But we are endless beings, spirits. We are essence. We are uh, we are coming from we are part of God, or of, let's say, of the source. Some people like to call this source God, some people don't like to call it. It doesn't matter at all. We are one with the source, but we don't know. And as long as this source cannot disappear, we cannot disappear either. Yes? We
Yes.
we are sparks of a divine light. We are sparks of something very, very beautiful. And um, being spiritual means realizing that you cannot really disappear. There is no end for you. There is no end for you as essence. There is no end for you as something that cannot be described in words, but we used to call soul or spirit. Um, of course, for most people, it is hard to believe this. Uh, they would probably like to believe it, but they are not sure. They always doubt. They doubt somehow, and because they doubt, there's so much fear for many of them. There are so many inconveniences in life, and they strive so hard. They strive so hard to find their way, and sometimes they are desperate because, yes, exactly as you said, they feel alone. They feel or abandoned. I've heard this too. You know, there is also this concept. Okay, maybe there is a God, but if there is a God, he's not a good presence because he or she lets me live this life. Yes,
Yes.
which is just a thought. We don't suffer because of God. We don't suffer because of this essence. No, we suffer because of what we think about life and about ourselves. We suffer because we interpret life in so many ways that don't uh, uh, don't help us.
Yes, true. I would like to share something which lately was a lot, occupies a lot of my time, related to, as you said, the fear. They live in fear.
Yes.
I came to realize that life actually is very simple. There is like no, like there is no gray. There is black or white. There is light and dark. There is love and fear. It's that simple. It's that simple. And when I came to realize this, I just realized that it's so easy to listen to our intuition and to really make a difference when we, for example, want something. When you feel fear, towards one thing, it's certain that, like you have that feeling of fear. That means that thing, it doesn't come from light. When you put your love into something, which I perceive it as the light, yeah, of the universe, yeah. When you put the love into something, I believe, like things are completely different. When you come from a space of, lack, like fear, and dark, from a dark zone, again, it's so different. So that's why I came to realize actually it's so simple for us to identify, where we are, like, what we want. Is this thing beneficial for me? Is this place, is this experience, is this person? It's so easy. We can just, listen to our body, to our intuition, and everything, start from there, from that specific moment when we can identify when it's about the fear and when it's about, like the love in, choosing something, or as I said, like being in a relationship, or so many situations. So this was my latest um, thing which I realized, and I was like so happy. I had a moment, and I remember that day I also, registered myself, because I just, I was channeling so well these ideas, and all these messages from the universe, from God, as you said. Some people call it God, some people call
Yes.
it universe, divine source, all these names. But the
Yes.
most important thing is that we recognize, end of the day, there is a powerful source, which which is interconnected with all of us, and we are all a whole. We are not, like separated. This is another thing which people believe, that we are separated, that they are alone. No, we are not. We are all a whole, together.
Yes, indeed. Mhm.
Yes.
Indeed, we are.
Yes, yes. So I was like so amazed that day. And, I always like to share these things when I have the possibility. And of course, when I have the right person to speak with, because I believe not all of us, they are awakened yet, or they are, in their way to awaken and to become aware and more conscious, and to live in the present, and to have these distinctions. So therefore, it's like talking to a deaf, like he cannot hear you, he's not there yet. So that's why I'm so happy when I really have this occasion to speak with the people who, really have a certain level of consciousness, and a different, level of perceiving things.
Mhm.
Right. I know that you, Michael, you are a very well-known astrologist as well. This is so amazing. I believe we will need like another 2, 3 hours to express everything.
Yeah.
Because you, let me call you a mini Wikipedia. I mean, you have so much knowledge and so much people, so much things to share with the people. And I believe that you are a great source, especially today that we are having this episode and this edition. I believe that you can share with us a little bit about astrology as well, just to make like a little introduction about
Yes, yes,
each
yes.
subject you are a master in.
Astrology is I call it a science. Astrology has nothing to do with fortune telling things like, and I still wonder where did this precious science came from, who brought it to us, because every time I draw a chart, I'm still amazed. Why? Because I tell people things that are so true. I've never seen those people, and I tell them so many things about them, and they are very surprised. They look at me in surprise, like asking, as if asking, how do you know this? How do you know this? It's not possible. And I tell them, no, it is very possible. I read it there, because this chart, this drawing in front of me is your how do you call it, radio, how do you call it in English, it's like an X-ray,
Receptors.
spiritual X-ray.
Yes, like X-ray. Yes, yes.
Yes. And uh, I can see things.
Yeah.
And that this astrology is the same. This same astrology makes me believe even more in a spirituality, because I can see their destinies there, and everybody has a destiny. But this destiny, uh, I want to make it clear. This destiny is not something that God created or the source created for us. No, it's something created by us, but not now, not in this life. Before coming here, we uh, we all want to solve some things about ourselves. We want to improve our level of knowledge. Uh, uh, Sometimes we want to make it right for other beings that come into this life together with us from a different dimension where we all go after dying. And it's amazing, because you can see their, let's say, their weaknesses, you can see their strong points, their source of being happy, because everybody sees happiness in a different way, I can tell you. They have a different view over happiness, and how to get it. And my role, I guess my role is an important one, because I put things together and I had them see the whole picture, to make connections in their minds, to understand the reasons for some happy or sad events in their lives. I let them see what the main lesson is for them in this life. You see, and we usually tape these conversations, and they listen to it afterwards, uh, because they cannot remember everything. I tell them so many things, and don't ask me how, because it is not just that drawing in front of me. I felt like I'm connected to the people coming to me. It's such a powerful and mysterious connection that starts up, you know. And well, there's a lot to tell. Anyway, astrology is one of the main proofs that we are spiritual beings. Yes,
Wow, amazing. Yes, I know that the natal chart says everything
yes,
about, yeah, and the position of the planets on the right moment when we are born, everything, the ascendant, the position of the moon, the sun, and
right,
everything
right, right,
has a major significance and importance for our lives, end of the day, for our destiny, for what we chose to experience in this particular
right,
time
right,
and
right,
life.
right. Because we talk about choices, yes, and I say yes, we choose, but we choose before coming here.
Yeah.
We have freedom, but not the way people think about it.
Hmm. Yes. Wow. I love all these topics, and what can I say? I will, just continue to talk about them like forever because I love everything, which is, like the unseen world, all the mysticism, all these things that we never learn, we don't learn in school all these things
No,
about
no,
who we
unfortunately,
really are, and I believe this is like the base when you come into this life, or for example when you become an adult. I believe this is the base every one of us should know. Who
right.
am I, and
Who am I? Yes.
who am I, and why am I here now in this world? What do I like? What do I love to do? I mean, nobody ever, just nobody point you to this direction. And I believe in a way, it's a good thing because, for example, in my case, when I was ready and I was started to question myself about myself, my life, why am I here? I always had that feeling that it should be something more. There must be something more out there. I was, like some people, let's say they call it like, oh, always unhappy. I always had that feeling of not having enough because I never felt that I was enough. Not from that perspective of not being grateful or feeling, like small, inferior, dismissive. Not from that point of view, but I always sense it in my body, in my mind, in my heart that there is something else. Life should be something more, like not just these material things, not just these the touch the just the touchable things, let's say. I always believe strongly deep in my heart that there is something else I should find out. And that's why I'm saying now, and I just want to share with everybody. And I'm sure a lot of us, they were, just recognize themselves in this story. I just realized that everything comes to you on the perfect time, space, and in life. Uh, I believe that when we are ready, like deeply ready, the things are just coming to us. We don't have to seek because
Right. Yeah.
this is spirituality. End of the day, we don't have to seek spirituality. We are spiritual beings.
Right. Mhm.
So I believe all these things, they just come to you on the perfect time and space when you are ready, when your soul is ready, when you had already all this, when you already built this wisdom. And
Mhm.
or you can hear them, because otherwise, like as I said earlier, you are like deaf, like you cannot hear these things. You need to have a certain level of consciousness
Right. Right.
to
Yeah.
be able to hear these things. And
Yes, you guessed as you anticipated what I was going to say. Not everybody is prepared, you see, and we don't have to blame anybody for that. There is
exactly.
nobody to blame. There is nobody to blame. Yes, and many skeptical, some skeptical persons came to me because not because they wanted to, they were sent. For
Yeah.
example, men sent by their wives, and they said, "My wife sent me," and but they were so, so serious, and they were like ready not to believe anything. But when I started telling them things, and I went on and on, they were so surprised. They were looking at me. They were.
Yeah.
You couldn't know that from somewhere. No, no. I said, of course not. I don't have an interest, a special interest on you. And you are not a public figure. So, of course, I didn't read anywhere about you. um, yes, people are, we are not, we are not at the same place in our evolution. Yes. And some people are ready for a certain message, some people are not ready for the same message, you see. And but my experience now allows me to speak on almost any level, you see. From I can feel how I should speak to a person, no matter of his or her background. And I think this is let's say the art of therapy. Yes, I hope we'll have another session where we could detail all this.
Yes, again, therapy, I believe it's such a powerful thing. I mean, and I know for sure that the most happy, wealthy, healthy people in the world, they are people who healed already the old traumas, because otherwise you are stuck. You cannot move. You're paralyzed there in your pain, in your dark zone. And
Yes,
yes, and I believe psychology also, has such an important thing in regards to everything. For example, even in a business, it's 80% psychology, 20% is skill, which is applicable, in everything.
uh,
Everything works the same. There are like specific things you have to do, like in order to complete your wish and to achieve whatever you want to. And everything, like 80% is psychology behind it. Well, most of the work, it's psychology, is not the proper, work itself. It's just 20% the skill.
right.
So that's why I want that, people really understand that actually things are so different. And I believe that it's very, very important to really work on traumas, as you said, like the therapy work.
Yeah,
And let me tell you something: we all have traumas. all
sure.
all of us, we all have traumas, from, I don't know, from a little incident to a bigger. Everything is creating, which has a negative impact in our life, is creating a little trauma or a bigger trauma. So we all need to, just to fix these things up, to a to empty our consciousness, and just to change the perspective over things and to heal. So yes, this is a mandatory thing, I believe, in everybody's life, to heal the traumas. And I know it's kind of like, the thing is like, everybody believes that when they hear the word like therapy, because this is the thing which I really want to point out right now, because a lot of people they think when they hear about psychologists or trauma, they believe trauma is like, like a physical traumas. They cannot they cannot perceive it, they cannot even think of that emotional trauma, for example, it's much more powerful than a physical one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So yes, it's very, very important, and I'm so happy to that we came to talk about this right now, and to
Yes.
just emphasize the importance of the trauma healing. And yes, let's go further, and let's just go back to our today's topic, which is about happiness and fulfillment. And I would like to ask you, because we don't have so much time left, but we can still talk about happiness. And please, can you please tell me, from your perspective, what is it that thing that you believe that make people happy? What is it that little spark that is creating that happiness, and that beautiful moment in their lives?
So for me, happiness um, means first of all to be at peace with yourself, to be pleased, Uh, and there is this very important question: which is the most important thing in life? To have peace in your life or to be right about something? Because many, many, many people, most people quarrel and have fights because they want to prove something. They want to prove they are right, you know? And this ego battle going on and on and on. I want to prove it to you that I am right. And my point is here. I think it is much more important to be at peace, to have an inner smile all the time, to accept, acceptance. Acceptance is another key to happiness. I accept. I don't fight back. I accept. I accept that things can be like this or like that. I accept that this thing can happen to me. Everything's possible to anybody. When you started thinking like that, you make room for happiness to come in your way. Uh, Happiness means harmony, means, seeing the beauty around you. There is always something so beautiful coming your way, but you just don't see it, or you turn your head elsewhere. But beauty is everywhere, especially in yourself, because you come from this source we have talked about. Yes. And this source is love and beauty, but not just physical. Of course, I'm not talking about physical beauty. It's a special beauty. The beauty of being. We forget the most important thing: to be grateful. To be grateful for being here, for thinking, for having so many experiences, for growing up, for meeting wonderful people, for for facing so many opportunities. So happiness is hard to define in a single word, but let's say peace, acceptance, understanding, um, quietness. To make your mind quiet. This is the most difficult thing of all. to make your mind quiet or to tame your mind, let's say. Because mind shouldn't master us. We should master our mind. And only be capable of doing this when we realize that we are something different from our mind. We are not our mind. We are something above this mind. The moment you realize this, your life starts changing. Because conscience is different from mind. Or let's say conscience is a different level of intelligence. From the point of consciousness, you can you can achieve anything.
Yes,
I
definitely.
hope. I hope. I gave you an answer.
Yes, 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 you're right. We can define happiness by just simply realizing that happiness means acceptance, love, and, realizing that we are never alone and we are love and we are love as well. And what else we can say that this is the perfect definition of happiness. Thank you so much, Michael, for sharing this with us.
I thank you. I thank you, and I apologize from some mistakes I make in my English. It's been a long time since I last talked in English. I know it very well, but of course, talking is different. But if we repeat this, it will be better.
Yes, yes, definitely. We can have another edition together and we can, just expand each subject which we approach today in today's
Right,
edition.
right. It is only a brief, a mere introduction.
Yes, it's a brief
Um,
introduction. Yeah, just before we go, we say goodbye to our listeners. Can you please share your social media angles and website with us, and so people can find and connect with you?
yeah, it is Michael Grecu, Grecu. That um, WordPress.com. Yes.
Yes. Anyway, I'm sure they will be able to find it in your
They just have to
description.
put my name, Michael.
Great.
If
Yeah.
they type Michael Greco, Michael, yes, Michael. It's an English name because I have an English name. It's my real name. There is a middle name as well, Titus, Titus, like the Roman Emperor, Grecu. Yes, Grecu. They find many things. Of course, they are not in English, but with Google, we can translate everything now.
Yes, yes, wonderful. I'm sure, as I said, the people will also find your social media angles and your website on the description. And I know what I wanted to share just at the end before we
Yes.
finish today is that first and foremost, I'm so happy and grateful that that you accepted my invitation for today, and I know that today's edition will bring awareness and clarity to our listeners worldwide because women's radio station can be heard and the broadcasting is worldwide, so can be heard in Europe, UK, and US. Yeah, and I'm very grateful to have had you here, and thank you for expressing the powerful you, which I believe it's just suits you very well this name, and. Thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing all this beautiful information and a little part of your knowledge with us today.
I thank you, Ramona, and I did this because I value you a lot, because I feel how you really are. Yes.
Yes.
So I encourage your listeners
Thank you.
to pay attention to you.
Thank you so much. We'll have to stop right now. Thank
Right.
you all for listening and goodbye.